What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZORA today. Yes, ZORA. There's probably going to be 12 of you that watch this video, but for those 12, I want to make you aware of I think a very good opportunity here for a short-term trade. Okay, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. This idea is really just for getting in and getting out, and I think it'll be obvious whenever it's time to get out. I think it'll be obvious whenever it's time to get in. So hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. And let's get into it, all right? I haven't talked about ZORA in some time. I've made some posts on X, and I do think that it's at obviously a good time to accumulate some more. We have been in a bit of a bear market now since August of 2025. You can absolutely go lower. I wonder, from a high, how low have you gone already? You've dropped 88%. Typically, altcoins in their first bear market, they drop like 94%, 90-something% or more. So will ZORA see all-time lows? Will it even see lower prices than this? It's completely possible. It's completely possible, and even normal in crypto alt season bear market or altcoin bear markets. You don't have to. We could find support at various places, but I don't want to necessarily talk about that. I want to talk about this opportunity, right? But just so that you're aware of where the path might go as time unfurls. Altcoin bear markets typically do result in a greater than 90% drop, which 90% from here, from the high, we're not even at a 90% drop yet. 90%, and oftentimes it is greater than 90%. We likely do go below like 1.5 cent. We're at 1.7 cent now. So looking at this here, we've definitely got some bullish divergence set up, and I think that we're going to come through and form another drive of bullish divergence here on the RSI. We've definitely got a bullishly postured MACD on the daily time frame, and the stochastics also have bullish divergence as well. Very beat up, very bearish readings overall, but there are some hints of bullishness. When we found support here, it was pinpoint right here. And what did we do? We pumped immediately. We had a lot of recovery afterwards. That was probably because they were getting listed on Robinhood, all this stuff, right? Massive pump, massive recovery. Okay, right at a very, very obvious point of contention there. Whenever we found support here, and this was just a wicked pump that happened, but this was an area that we were expecting to find support at, was right here at our prior all-time high area here. We did go a little bit below there, but even if you bought this high, even if you bought the absolute high and it dropped on you, you still had a chance to make a really, really good trade here from a, let's just not even say from a low point. Let's take it from the high point here. From the high point there, imagine you bought below, so it would be more than this, but from the high point there to the upside, that was an 87% pump. You could have had a buy order set here. Once that buy order hits, and you're paying attention to the charts, you put a sell order that's 50% higher, 70%, 80% higher. It would have hit. It would have been brainless. You could have just gone to sleep and it would have worked out. Now, if you have like millions of dollars on this trade, maybe not. There's definitely a lot of volume there, but it's harder for the price to get past those thick orders. If you are dealing with larger amounts of money, you want to spread your order out, right? And with these trades, you probably don't want to use like a larger amount of money, especially with the risk of coming to the downside here. But if there's any play money, if there's any lower amounts of money that you're thinking about, making a trade on, I'm thinking, again, based off of all these obvious points here where we have found direct support, where we are now, it's not really obvious. It's not really anywhere obvious. We are in this bearish kind of dynamic overall with all of our indicators, forming some bullish divergences and building a base and all that stuff, but I don't think we're quite ready to bounce just yet. Where's the next area where we might find some contention? I wonder. It's probably right here. Probably right at prior areas of resistance. So that price would be at about a 90% drop overall from your all-time high. 1.38 cents. Does this mean that this is the bear market low? Does this mean that you put the hammer down and that you just count on new all-time highs from there? No. But it does mean that we probably see some volatility. Maybe that volatility only takes us to these highs. Maybe that volatility from this kind of area, and let's put it like right at the highest point. Imagine that you buy below this, it'll only be more. If we were to go from there and we find resistance at this prior high here, that'd be a 63% pump. But still, that's a nice trade, a nice brainless trade where you could make probably greater than 50% gains, let alone if we see something that's a little bit more robust than that. And again, all of these times we bounced here, it's typically a quick recovery that happens, right? It's a very quick recovery that happens. So I don't expect it to be long-lived. It could be larger. We could see a larger move than this. It's completely possible. But the thought that I'm running with at the moment is really just that we'll find support somewhere here, and we should get a pretty adverse reaction to this downtrend. We should be moving back up, and with that, maybe running on this idea from an all-time high to finding support somewhere in this area. The 236 could be taken into consideration, which is right here at this prior high. That would be that like 60% pump. The 382 could be taken into consideration, which would definitely put you over a 100% pump. Something in between there. That 382 is prior resistance here, prior support here. It makes sense. It makes sense. And typically with the 382, you do go through it a little bit. So even if we went through it, there's prior support here that we could find resistance at. It's not the craziest thing to happen. There's one last thing that I want to do here before I wrap this video up. From a low point to a high point here. So we found resistance at the golden ratio after finding support on it. The next area to find support is the 1886 to 200 level. I'm very confident that we will at least go to 0.0154, if not lower. And actually looking at that right there, I doubt that we find support at 0.0154. We probably do go right down. I mean, that 200 level's right there. So probably right there, something below 0.0136, something below 0.0134 to maybe something around even 1 cent itself. We could go as low as 1 cent. That actually is a possibility. And psychological support, the 2272, maybe a quick wicked dump, but I wouldn't panic. I do expect a pump to happen. Something that would at least take us back to 2 cents, at least there, if not likely something that's at like 2.6 to 3 cents. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I will definitely keep an eye on this. I watch ZORA, periodically, and whenever I think it's at a more relevant time, that'll probably be the next time I talk about it. Is whenever I think it's at a good time to buy. I just wanted to put everybody the 12 people that watch this, I wanted to make you aware of this potential opportunity. So that you can make your own plays off of that as well. None of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just your degenerate buddy trying to look for glimpses of excitement in these bearish times. Hit that like button. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.